Welcome to Faust, Unraveling the Great Enigma. Today's episode is entitled, We Meet Faust, a soul at the edge of knowing. Before Faust meets Mephistopheles, before any bargain is imagined or soul placed at risk, we meet him alone, surrounded by books, titles, and the long evidence of effort. This is not a moment of triumph. It is a reckoning. Faust has studied everything a man of his time could study, mastering systems meant to explain the world, the mind, and even God. He has taught others. He has earned authority. And yet, at the height of his learning, he finds himself emptied by the very knowledge that was meant to sustain him. He says, I've studied now philosophy and jurisprudence, medicine, and even, alas, theology, from end to end with labor keen. And here, poor fool, with all my lore, I stand no wiser than before. This is not the cry of an uneducated man. It is the confession of someone who has gone all the way and found no resting place at the end of the road. Faust does not dismiss learning lightly. He honors it by naming it fully, then naming its failure. What wounds him is not ignorance, but the absence of wisdom. Knowledge has given him mastery, status, even power, but not meaning. And meaning, once longed for and not found, becomes a dangerous hunger. And he states that nothing can be known, that knowledge cuts me to the bone. Then comes the line that startles us, especially when read too quickly. He states, Neither scruples nor doubts come now to smite me, nor hell nor devil can longer affright me. At first glance, this can sound like arrogance, like a man puffed up by intellect and certainty. But Goethe is doing something far more unsettling. Faust is not declaring strength. He is naming a void. Fear no longer has power over him because nothing feels weighty enough to matter. Even damnation requires belief. Even terror requires wonder. Faust has lost that. This is not hubris in the usual sense. It is something quieter and more dangerous. A soul so starved of wonder that even terror has lost its power. This is why Faust's crisis does not belong in the 16th century alone. He feels modern. He is the patron saint of overachievement without inward nourishment, of systems mastered while the inner life is neglected, of knowledge accumulated without reverence. His despair is not dramatic or theatrical. It is weary and therefore persuasive. Goethe is careful here. Faust does not begin with Mephistopheles. He begins with emptiness. The pact comes later. At this point in the tragedy, we are not asked to judge Faust. We are asked to recognize him. He stands at a threshold many souls quietly inhabit. Accomplished, yet unsatisfied. Informed, yet unanchored. Fearless because there is nothing left to lose. Goethe invites us to pause here, to sit with the discomfort of a life where knowledge has failed and longing has not. This reading of Faust is not about rushing ahead to the famous bargain. It is about staying with this moment when intellect has reached its limit and something unnamed begins to stir. Dear listeners, if you wish to continue this journey with us, you are warmly invited to gather in the Faust Salon at Rebecca's Reading Room, a place for shared reading, reflection, and conversation. Some stories are not meant to be read quickly. They are meant to walk beside us. I'm Rebecca Budd, and this is Faust, Unraveling the Great Enigma.